What's going on YouTube? So the GLE has long stood atop the sales charts for the Mercedes brand. And for 2025, Mercedes has added even more customization to this luxury SUV. So, does it continue to stand up against all of the competitors? Well, let's go ahead and find out. All right, so like always, let's start out under the hood. So you're gonna find, potentially a wide variety of things underneath this hood. 6 different powertrains is what this is offered with. It begins with the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with 255 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. This is paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and new for 2025, you can now get this in both a rear-wheel drive configuration or the standard 4MATIC all-wheel drive that the other models come standard with. Combined fuel economy is coming in at 22 mpg.
Now, of course, we're going to be taking this out for a spin so you can see what all of this is like out on the road. We'll also be getting things like our signature sound level reading, and after that, discussing potential resale value and reliability.
But let's go ahead and close up the hood so we can take a look at the exterior and interior and discuss the changes there. So just last year, this GLE did go under the knife for a bit of a refresh, and with that, they kind of tweaked the overall design just to get it more in line with the latest Mercedes design language that is going to continue on for 2025. So you see up here in the front, we've got that signature Mercedes grille. We've got the nice single bar that goes across the front here. It is going to be blacked out because this model has the AMG line package, which gives it just a little bit more of an aggressive look here in the main fascia, as well with your lower fascia. But like I was mentioning, the powertrains, there's a lot of different versions of this model, and it will be slightly different depending on which version you choose. Now, let's talk about the headlights. So you will have, of course, standard full LED lights, as you would expect. Again, this has the latest design. These are reflector LEDs. You can get projector LEDs as an option. You've got that new daytime running light and turn signal indicator up there at the top. There are no fog lights offered. Now moving around to the back, you'll continue to find those small revisions that they made last year for that 2024 refresh.
Yeah, and I think that overall has a very nice and classy look. Now we have a spoiler up top, we have a window wiper, and Drew's going to hop inside so we can see if all the elements are LED for this taillight unit. We have an LED brake light, LED reverse light, and an LED amber turn signal indicator, so that's nice that all of the elements are LED. Dropping down to the lower fascia, a lot of it's going to be body color. There's also some shiny black plastic. Additionally, we have dual exposed exhaust outlets, and your tow rating as a maximum on any GLE is 7,700 pounds.
Now moving on to our wheels. As you'd expect for a Mercedes product, you have a wide assortment of choices, beginning at 19-inch alloys. This is a 20-inch alloy. This is the AMG line model. So as you can see, it's got that signature 5-point star design with the contrast look. I think it looks quite nice overall. The other important thing to note about the AMG line model is the fact that this is going to give you the body color wheel surrounds as well as lower elements, just kind of giving it a little bit of a sportier and premium vibe than the standard model. Moving up here to our mirrors, you do have a gloss black finish up top. And of course, these are fully loaded with all the features, including auto dimming, power folding, blind spot monitoring, and heating.
Now at the side of the Mercedes GLE, we have an overall vehicle length of 194 inches, which is pretty much identical to BMW X5. And new for 2025, I want to point out we have a couple new colors. They're called manufacturer signature colors, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce them because they get a little complicated, but it is a new customizable feature that you can get on this GLE. Now when it comes to your safety systems, I'm happy to tell you get 2 out of 4 of them as standard equipment. Now if you want the rest of them, you will have to option on the driver's assistance package, which will give you a slew of more features. But guys, there's some new features on the inside, so let's dive into that. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, now let's go ahead and check out the interior. First, here's our key fob. Typical Mercedes key fob on board. Of course, you do have a smart entry system. You can also remote start via the app. And then walking up to the vehicle, just reach behind the handle and that will unlock the door, as well as fold the mirrors outward. Now, checking out the interior. So no radical changes for 2025, but there are some detailed changes, which we will get into. And we're going to begin with some of those changes right here when we talk about the seats, because this model here just has the standard MB text. That's a synthetic leather. However, you continue to have the option of real leather, Nappa leather, and you also have what is known as a new manufacturer signature interior package. And what that does is kind of just bougie up the interior. It's got some new colors for 2025. It's going to give you kind of almost a Maybach experience to your interior and really make it super nice and fancy. Now, returning back to these seats, these are going to be standard 16-way power adjustment. Of course, in typical Mercedes fashion, you've got all these different controls over here on the door trim. There's still the nice metal buttons. You have standard memory seats. You have standard heated seats, and then ventilation is an additional option on board. But let's go ahead and climb inside. And I do also want to mention that massaging is available as well. Soft closed doors are available. And then as you get inside, you'll see a little animation pop up on the screen. Let's go ahead and look at the rest of the cabin materials. So over here on our door trim, you have more of that leather material through here, as well as the center section. Soft touch plastic along the top. We have one of the available wood trims. It's a beautiful open pour. As we go up to the top dash, this is a soft touch plastic. You can get this in a leatherette as well. You have more beautiful open pore wood, metal vent details, and more of the leather and wood down here on our center console area. Let's go ahead and fire it up with our push button start. Now on to some of the individual details, including our gauge cluster to start with. So this is the 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. You've seen this on a lot of Mercedes products. It is fully customizable with all these different designs that you can choose between, including a full screen navigation view. Of course, the head-up display is also available. We don't have it on today's tester. We do have rain sensing wipers, as well as a power, tilt, and telescoping steering wheel. Nice leather wrap. Of course, this has the updated design from 2024 as well. Heating is available, and also you can get heated armrest in addition to that. Now let's go ahead and check out interior storage. We'll open up our console here, and you'll notice that there are donuts inside this because Car Confections, that is our logo, and we like to check the volume and see how many donuts fit inside. Today, we can fit 11 donuts inside the center console. That's pretty good for this type of vehicle. There's also a USB-C in there. Got a tiny storage slot right there. The rest of the storage is really underneath of that piece of wood. So you've got your standard wireless phone charging pad, 2 more USB connections, and then you have your cup holders behind that. Moving up to our shifter, it is electronic, so just pull down forward drive. You do have metal paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel. Go up into reverse. When in reverse, you will be greeted always with this 360-degree camera system. It is standard now across the entire lineup. And you also have the 3D view, so you can spin all around the vehicle. It really has top-notch resolution. Then just press the end of the stock there for park. You also have an electronic parking brake. Now as we kind of come down into this area, of course, you do have this controller, which is one of the ways you can control the display if you don't want to touch it, since it is also a touchscreen. You have several different buttons down here, but one thing you'll notice that is different for 2025 is this right here. This is a fingerprint reader. So like some of our other Mercedes products, we now have that here on the GLE. This allows you to do things such as sync your settings into the vehicle just based on tapping that real fast when you get inside. Now on the opposite side, you also will notice our volume ruler for the audio system. This is a 590 watt 13 speaker Burmester sound system. Most models will have this, and let's give it a sample. Yeah, overall sound quality is quite nice. Also, one of the things I've always really liked about Burmisters and Mercedes models is the fact that they have some of the most detailed and beautiful metal speaker grills right there on the door trim. Okay, let's continue on from that. You have a row of physical climate controls. That is pretty refreshing to see nowadays. You just press the button right there to make your temperature adjustment. This is standard dual zone. You can get an available 4-zone climate if you prefer that. And then above that, we have our 12.3-inch display. Right now I'm in Android Auto. Both of those systems, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, are included standard and they run wirelessly. As far as the rest of the infotainment system, it's just your typical MBUX. Of course, some of the newest Mercedes kind of have the crazy hyper screen. This is kind of just a dialed down version. Really has most of the same features, including navigation with augmented reality view as well. Taking a look up top, we have an auto dimming mirror. HomeLink remotes are built into the bottom of it. We've got the black headliner on today's model. You'll always find at least a standard size sunroof, but we have the available panoramic size sunroof on today's model. Obviously the front panel does open up as well.
Let's go ahead and dive into the rear seat area of the GLE and see what you're going to get back here. Now, as far as space is concerned, I think that's an area where this vehicle really shines. We're sitting at about 41 inches of legroom and about 40 inches of headroom. Guys, it just feels so spacious back here in the GLE, and that makes it one of the largest offerings that you're going to find, and much bigger than stuff like the Lexus RX. Now, one of the things we do in all of our Car Confections reviews is get a knee room figure. With Drew's 5'8" seating position, we are sitting at over 12 inches, or pretty much exactly 12 inches of knee room, which is really impressive. My feet can also slide up underneath the seat easily. Just be aware that these seats do not recline at all. So in the standard configuration, they're not going to move at all. However, you can get a fully power adjusting second row if you option on the third row option. So I guess that's worth mentioning. If you need the extra seats, you can get a third row in the GLE, which is pretty unique for this segment of vehicle. We have actually sampled that out before if you want to see a review on that. Now, as far as the center armrest, we have 2 cup holders inside. Over here in the center, we have vents. However, since we have a more basic model, we're missing out on the climate controls that you would have. However, we do have 2 USB-C ports down there at the bottom. Now, as far as the door trim features, you'll notice that we just have a quite nice one, soft touch plastic, lots of wood trim, even metal speaker grills here in the back. And then we have a ton of bottle storage down in the very bottom. This thing is absolutely massive. As a matter of fact, it completely swallows up the Stanley water bottle. So very happy with the practicality back here. And you can also option on heated rear seats. Now, of course, walking up to the tailgate, we have a power one with the kick ability. And as far as the space is concerned in the GLE, once again, you're going to see a good amount of it here in this model. So we're sitting at 33 cubic feet behind the second row of seats. If we fold those down, about 75 cubic feet is what you can expect. As far as how you compare that to a BMW X5, that is going to be very similar cargo figures. However, compared to the Lexus RX, it is much, much bigger. You can, of course, get the third row option, and if you get the plug-in hybrid version of this vehicle, do be aware it's going to reduce your cargo capacity just a little bit. Now, in order to fold the seats, they do fold 40-20-40 split, but I will have to go up there and do it from the second row itself. And now that I've got those seats folded completely flat with the loading floor, let's get our cargo length, width, and height figures. So as far as the cargo length behind Drew's driving position, we're sitting at 79 inches long, which is quite good. Behind the second row, about 40 inches. Then as far as the width, that's 44 inches wide, really good. And then the height is also quite impressive at 32 inches tall. Underneath of the floor, we do have a big spare tire under there, so that's quite nice. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the Mercedes GLE. In this test drive, we're going to be discussing quite a few different things. As you can see on the screen right now, we'll also be getting things like our signature sound level reading, but we want to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration.
All right, and that was 60 miles per hour in the GLE 350. So 350 is the standard engine option for the GLE. This is what probably the majority of people are going with. This is what I see mostly in terms of what's on like dealership lots. It is the most affordable price point. So if you're not looking for huge power figures, this is going to be just fine. It's a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, 255 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. Does also have the EQ Boost mild hybrid system. And like we were mentioning at the spec dump as well, beyond the 350, there's actually 5 other powertrain choices that you can get. So really, this is one of those vehicles that whatever you're looking for, you really can get it. So, you know, you want that maximum performance. You've got the full gauntlet of AMG models, for example. There's just a lot of different choices. There's a plug-in hybrid as well. Really just, you know, if you're interested in this model, I guess, kind of go out to your dealership and drive some of the different powertrains.
Yeah, there are so many. As a matter of fact, we're not going to do each an individual tech spec. You see it on the screen right now. You can see all their horsepower figures, stuff like that. Namely, a couple things I do want to just point out is that the new plug-in hybrid version that came into the lineup last year, and that has 48 miles of range on a single charge. So really impressive stuff with that. Hopefully, maybe a little bit later on this year, we'll be able to get behind the wheel of that model specifically and get you guys a dedicated review for that. But overall, ton of options, like Drew said, anything your heart desires. The only thing I do want to just mention right off the bat here is the fact that the biggest rival, the BMW X5, does come standard with a 6-cylinder powertrain. You do have to option that onto the GLE and the GLE 450 version. Now, you might have noticed there, that was the mild hybrid system at work. Went ahead and turned the engine off before you actually came to a stop, which I think is a very big benefit that Mercedes offers you, is that EQ Boost system. It's still the best auto start stop out there, in my opinion. It really just is incredibly smooth. You won't notice it at all unless you're looking at the tachometer right there.
Right, that's one of the things that certainly Mercedes really stands out with, is this EQ Boost. And it is, of course, helping fuel economy. It's also helping the smoothness. It powers the climate so that it doesn't turn off as some vehicles do, like the GV80, a chief competitor to this. The climate control kind of turns down when the auto start-stop system is on. So overall, this works quite nicely.
Yeah, and speaking of the fuel economy, let me go ahead and read you some of these figures. So as far as this model is concerned, this is a GLE 350 4MATIC, probably the most popular combination that you'll find. 19 city, 26 highway, 22 miles per gallon combined. So that is actually going to represent a 1 mpg reduction over the 24 model, just due to the differences in the EPA testing, I assume. But 22 is, not bad. Do keep in mind, though, if you get the 450 model, your fuel economy isn't going to be reduced much at all. So, if you want the 6-cylinder refinement and performance, you might just want to pick that.
Yeah, the torque getting off the line is pretty nice as well. Let's talk about some of the other aspects of the powertrain. We did already discuss with the spec dump the fact that this 350 is now available with rear-wheel drive, so that does help you out and by lowering the overall price point and giving you an additional option. But I'm sure most people will still go with the 4MATIC all-wheel drive that all the rest of the trims come standard with. Additionally, you do have a 9-speed automatic transmission on board as well. Overall, nothing really, noteworthy or anything about this transmission. It's pretty much across the whole Mercedes lineup. It is a smooth partner for the most part. You do have some different drive modes that you can switch between as well to change up that shift quality, and you have paddle shifters on the steering wheel.
But we're just kind of cruising down the highway here, and this is when I want to discuss ride quality. Now, the GLE is one of the best vehicles in the entire segment for having a smooth ride, and once again, I'm just going to say it here in the 2025, it's just so incredibly comfortable and smooth. Don't worry about getting the AMG line on the outside. It doesn't change how comfortable this vehicle is. It is so good. Now, of course, if you want, stiffer ride or whatnot, you can get the AMG versions of this vehicle, but the GLE and its vast majority of the models are just it's gonna be really focused on comfort. The only thing I will say is that these seats I do find to be a little bit on the firmer side, so if you like a really plush, soft seat, you might find that elsewhere. But overall, the ride quality and overall comfort is really good. And why is it able to have such good ride quality? Well, it's because you actually have standard adaptive dampers on every single GLE. Additionally, you have the option of getting the air suspension, so that's going to even further elevate your ride quality. All right, and we are speeding up to 55 miles per hour. So let me go ahead and start toggling the fan speed to 1. There we go. 55.9 decibels is what we are sitting at as our sound level reading in the 25 Mercedes GLE. And we don't have to sit here and guess how it compares to the rivals. We can go to carconfections.com/sound level readings. And on our website, we posted all of the vehicles that we review on this channel. Now, as far as that sound level reading, that is going to place it pretty much middle of the segment when it comes to that. As far as other GLEs that we've tested out in the past, those have actually been a little bit more on the quieter end. The 24 model that we did was sitting at 52.7 decibels, so you can expect to get a really quiet cabin, and I do believe they even offer specific options such as thicker glass that you can get to further just elevate your overall cabin noise inside of here. This is a more bass optioned GLE today. All right, let's get into our Car Confections Slam Dunk and Airball, our favorite and least favorite element. Drew, why don't you kick us off with the Slam Dunk?
We're going to say the Slam Dunk today is just the customizability. We discussed for 2025 that you get even more options. This vehicle already just gives you an insane number of combinations that you can put together with these new manufacturer signature exterior and interior color choices. You can get this kind of like the full Maybach experience.
Yeah. I mean, it's really crazy how many combos they offer. Now, as far as the airball side of things, it's kind of related to that, but you have to pay to play, as they say. So the Mercedes GLE is one of the most expensive products in the entire segment, and if you start checking all those boxes off, you're going to well land in like the $100,000 price point, even for a non-AMG version of this vehicle. So just keep that in mind. You have the endless customizability, but you're going to have to pay for it. And lastly, as far as your warranty is concerned, you have a 4-year, 50,000-mile basic and powertrain warranty. Mercedes does not include any complimentary maintenance. Now let's discuss pricing for the GLE. Now, do keep in mind we have that new rear drive version of the GLE 350, so that will reduce your price point down a bit. If you want the 4MATIC version, it starts at $64,350. Of course, there are a ton of different versions. You can see those on the screen right now. As tested today, we have pretty lightly equipped model. We're looking at $75,585 after the 1150 destination. Now, if you're looking to buy a Mercedes GLE or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But buying a car is about more than just the original MSRP, so let's go ahead and dive into resale and reliability. Now, as an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Mercedes GLE's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth 41.1% of its original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 17%. Now, it's worth noting that is much below the average for all vehicle makes when it comes to resale value by percentage. However, it's not really that uncommon when it comes to luxury vehicles, and actually ties that of BMW and Audi.
Now, we've also done the same for reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index. This takes into account several studies on reliability from trustworthy sources and combines them in a way that gives you guys a more holistic picture. In this regard, Mercedes is rated just below the industry average for all vehicle makes.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our reliability and resale data, as well as our methodology, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new car is a big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. And guys, that's going to be it for our in-depth review of the 2025 Mercedes-Benz GLE 350. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to be a part of our Car Confections family, which is, of course, a great decision because you're going to get all the latest car reviews and you're also going to have a lot of fun. I promise you won't regret it. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.